with white knuckles shining over a sweaty briefcase handle, I take a deep, quivering breath. Because it is time to pay the piper. And even though I know I have his due counted and recounted and sealed in this case, I am not stupid enough to attach the word safe anywhere next to my name yet. So here I stand in front of his garrison of thugs, masking my terror in faux confidence and disguising everything else in faux guises. My hair is dyed black, my lazy eye is hidden behind a monocle, my cut-off features are smoothed over with makeup. I don't care what it takes, my fuck-up cannot be traced back to Yomi and Ayame. Trying hard to convey confidence, I approach the gator pit, locking eyes with a particularly mean-looking one, and clear my throat. Mr. Agnello is expecting me.
Who are you?
Snarls one of the thugs, annoyed that I'm interrupting his smoke break. Fitzgerald, I come representing my client, Mr. Earl McFinery. I've got your boss's money over here.
It's alright. Clive, Arnold, let him in.
The door behind the thugs swings open and my hair stands on end as I find myself staring into his ice-chip blue eyes.
Hello, Fitzgerald.
Balding and stubble-faced, Dwight Agnello doesn't look like much, but I've heard enough about his extracurricular activities to know that I'd be an idiot and a corpse to underestimate this guy's ruthless greed. Mr. Agnello, it's a pleasure.
No need for formalities, Fitzgerald. It looks like our business is finished. Please, come inside.
Even though this guy's just graciously invited me into his house, it feels more like I'm being dared to stick my pee-pee between the alligator's open jaws. Stepping through the palatial townhouse, I gingerly follow my host as he throws small talk back at me, trying to hide the fact that my throat has swollen up like a baboon's ass. I try to keep up and attempt to knock the ball back into his court, but it's hard to exchange pleasantries, considering what this little house call is having me bear witness to. And even though the furnishings here match those happily ever after house on the hill stories you read, traces of its owner's underworldly endeavors are pretty fucking apparent. Handmaids are avoiding eye contact with their boss as he struts past them, furiously scrubbing red out of the carpet. There's a semi-conscious man slumped in the corner, whimpering as one of Agnello's thugs stands over him with a baseball bat slung over his shoulder. However, before he can swing and crack his marked skull, crony catches Agnello's eye.
You got it, boss.
Enforces sighs, tossing the bat aside. The man's face eases momentarily as he sees the blood and teeth-covered bat roll onto the floor. Suddenly convulses into hazy-eyed pleas, groaning at the yellow puddle his victim has just sourced on his polished wingtips.
Well,
Thug has just pulled out a barbarous black iron meat cleaver.
say what you will about them sleazy jinx, they sure as shit got this right. Can't be lopping off hands with a stiletto now, can I, boss?
Right tool for the right job.
Agnello sticks his hands in his pocket, already halfway out of the room.
Come on, Fitzgerald.
Keeping my vision clear off the clumsy manicure about to take place, I too jam my hands in my pocket, trying to hide my white-knuckled, shivering fists sweating inside. Because with every passing second, I feel more and more that this story is going to end with me losing much more than a single hand.
You must be hungry. I was just sitting down to dinner. Please, come and join me. Nothing's more depressing than eating alone, Clive can check on the payment in the meantime.
I hand over the briefcase, trying my best to stifle my trembling grip. The last thing I want to do is spend more time with this psycho bastard, but I'm fucking walking on eggshells right now. Theo, you gotta be on your best behavior, man. If this guy tells you to jump, you say how high. If he says kiss my ass, you say which cheek. Do whatever the fuck you have to, and get the fuck out of this alive, man. Agnello leads me into an enormous dining room and seats me at a checkered cloth table. One of his servants comes in and sets a plate of some sort of meaty thing in front of me. However, before he can pour me some of the dark vintage he's carried in, Agnello slaps his hands on the surface.
No wine for Fitzgerald, Smithy. I guess doesn't partake. Correct me if I'm wrong. Liver psoriasis, yeah?
Yes, sir. I'm surprised you remembered. My avaricious host's ice-chip eyes probe into me as he slices onto the meat on his plate.
Oh, I make it a habit to remember everything about my clients. Although I must say, you look quite healthy to me.
Well, thank you, sir. I guess there might be something to the whole good food and exercise the doctor never shuts up about.
Might just be. Might just be.
He chuckles, knifing some of the scarlet sauce onto a morsel.
You know, it always amazes me how much those white coats make.
With red dripping off his fork, he whistles, as if calling for someone. Half-assed footsteps thunder down the corridor and into... Fuck! That is a big-ass dog! Is that even a fucking dog? It's a fucking horse with fangs.
I mean, compare what they do to what vets do. What's the difference, huh?
He muses as a calf-sized bloodhound allows its master to rub it behind the ears.
The value of the life they're protecting?
Fuck, just keep the conversation flowing the way he wants it, Theo. Don't get him worked up. He likes dogs, then you fucking love dogs. Now, if more people shared that logic, because I think it's the physicians who should be underpaid.
Exactly.
Startled, the beast's lips curl and meat slobber glistening over its yellow fangs. Its growls are causing cutlery to rattle. Don't fucking look at me like that. It's your asshole master who did it. With a hint of amusement, Agnello returns his hand behind the animal's ears, calming it with his touch.
Exactly like you said, Fitzgerald. These animals are loyal but vicious, obedient and predictable. Stick on 2 tits and a dress, and you've just described my ideal woman.
That's a joke. Fucking laugh, dumbass. The ideal bitch, as if it were. What the fuck are you doing? Who the fuck said you can make jokes?
The ideal bitch. The ideal bitch. I like you, Fitzgerald. You're a funny guy.
Okay. Good joke, Theo. Have a fucking Scooby snack. Just make sure you don't turn into a fucking Scooby snack.
What's McFinery paying you anyway?
Oh, I'm flattered, Mr. Agnello, but I owe my boss a debt heavier than money. I don't think I have the heart to send in my 2 weeks' notice.
Loyal too. Shame. I could always do with more good men. Miranda, come here. Want some scallopini?
He holds her fork to her maw, but she turns away. Bored, she huffs a burst of hot air and trots out of the room. Like a father gazing exasperatedly after a belligerent child, he sighs.
What can I do? I bring her the best, but she only has eyes for what she can catch. Well, more for us. Isn't that right, Fitzgerald?
More for us. I repeat with a smile, eagerly taking a bite to show him that I'm a good boy.
So I won't have to march a firing squad into the kitchen, I take it, huh?
No, sir. Not today. I can feel my pulse finally start to calm down as the mood starts to lighten. To be honest, the food is actually pretty damn good. Now that my balls aren't creeping up my throat, I can finally begin to enjoy the taste. We don't get much scallopini like this down south.
Oh, if a man can't feed his guests and himself well, then what's the point of all this?
Nothing whatsoever. I begin to slice off another piece, feeling my knife crunch over its perfectly caramelized sear and sinking into its ruby red center. I mean, the mule meat is cooked beautifully. Right? Why is everybody gone quiet? I didn't say anything stupid, right? Agnello staring at me, ice chips locked with my shaking ones.
Why would you say that?
Say what, sir?
What makes you think this is mule, Fitzgerald?
That's what I thought it tasted like.
Mule!
He exclaims, dropping his fork to the side but holding on to the knife.
Mule is a peasant's meat. A poor man's pathetic attempt at sustaining his family's protein intake. Why would you say I served you a pitiful excuse of a meal?
I didn't mean...
Oh, I know what you meant. I'm just asking why you would say I served you mule.
I just thought it tasted like it.
It tastes like it, and that's another thing. Rogaine does have a lot of crow and pigeon frogs. It does have a rabid infestation of alley wolves. But what it does not have are any butcheries that carry mule.
He gets up from his seat, glaring at me suspiciously, and approaches.
So how would you know what mule tastes like? especially when you don't get scallopini like this down south.
Stammering, I gaze up at the bloodthirsty mobster parking it where my water glass was going to be. I travel a lot, and that's what I ate once. That's what I thought it tasted like. Thumping down the corridor, Miranda re-enters the room, but Agnello's pet doesn't break the tension or lighten the mood. No, the fucking animal scampers in with a new chew toy. There's a severed fucking hand hanging out of her blood-stained paw.
So your response to why you think you were served a meat that you should not be familiar with, because that's what it tastes like.
Oh my god, this crazy bastard is gonna kill me. Yes?
Knowing full well that I'm the most powerful man in this city, and that you came into my house and were served mule meat, a poor man's meat.
Fuck. Although my mind is a tempest of swear words cursing my fortune, my mouth is dry beyond speech. Unimpressed, Agnello grabs the knife lying next to my hand as the sound of his dog crunching on another echoes through my skull.
Should I tell you a trade secret, Mr. Fitzgerald?
Shit, I'm gonna be a fucking Scooby Snack. I'm gonna fucking die a Scooby Snack. Well, I flip off Lady Luck and call her everything unbecoming of a gentleman addressing a lady. Agnello slides the knife handle back into my hand.
I'm just fucking with you, Fitzgerald. It is mule meat.
Winking, he slaps me on the shoulder and starts laughing.
Oh, I'm just pulling your leg, Fitzgerald. It is mule meat.
I hope you get cancer. Sir, you had me. As I uneasily laugh and compliment the man who just made me paint my only good pair of pants a new shade called Hint of Yellow. Miranda curls up at my feet.
You have a very good palate, but let me share a little trade secret about business dinners. Never pay full when you can get away with a discount.
He grabs his utensils and resumes dining.
Unless I was trying to find somebody that'll warm my bed, Fitzgerald. The veal stays in the pantry and the mule on the plate.
Well, that's why you're a great businessman. And a grade A cunt.
If you can save a grail or make a grail, do it. Every time. Every time. And before you know it...
He gestures at his decadent accommodations that reek more of blood than anything else.
Maybe one day... Yes, Clive?
The mob boss glances over to his thug, who appears to have finished counting up my payment.
There's an extra 10,000 in the suitcase, sir.
Fitzgerald.
Agnello turns to me, pleasantly surprised. Well, Mr. McFinery will just wanted to express his gratitude for your business.
Well then, please tell Mr. McFinery it was my pleasure doing business with him. Tell me, how does his eel stall enterprise go?
Yeah, you practice this, just recite this. Well, it was good while it lasted. We made a decent amount, but when some idiots started dumping sewage into the rivers, our supply went bad. I had no choice, had to close up shop.
What a shame.
Well, that's the business world, isn't it, sir?
Indeed it is. Indeed it is.
He smiles, seeing that I finished my meal. And since our transaction has just ended, it's time for me to make my exit.
Well, thank you for coming, Mr. Fitzgerald.
He extends his hand, and I shake it, man, eager to leave this place. Now, finally the time to get out. Get the fuck out.
Funny, loyal, but not smart, Fitzgerald.
A heavy hand jams down on my shoulder, driving me back into my seat. No. What the fuck is going on? This is over. This is over.
Weren't you listening to what I just said about making a grail?
Agnello sinks back into his seat, eyes twinkling malevolently as the facade of our past transaction falls off and the true face of his present intentions glare back at me.
You said that Mr. Earl McFinery spent the money I loaned him on eel stalls in Rugine. But then why did it crop up east at some clinic near Mount K5?
No! Agnello pulls out a pistol from beneath the table and places it on his plate.
I also looked into this Earl McFinery you claim to be representing. But it's, strange. I couldn't find anyone with that name or alias anywhere. Imagine that.
I can't control it any longer. All guises and subterfuges have melted away because it is confirmed I am fucked. My eyes dart around the room, desperately searching for an escape, but Agnello's pistol keeps me from moving. Wait, I need to calm down. I'll think of an escape in a bit. First, I need to figure out how much this guy knows. Whether he knows about them. Sir, I can't. My boss would kill me if I told you about his business.
And what do you think I'll do to you if you don't tell me?
Agnello chuckles, bringing me into his crosshairs.
I'm here. He ain't. Out with it. What business is your boss in, huh? Drug trafficking? Is that it?
Thank fuck. Agnello thinks that I use the money for some business. That means he does not know about Yumi. So let's just make some shit up. He steals painkillers, morphine, opium, laudanum. I start lying nervously, praying that he can buy my bullshit. Wait, there. The window. He skims a little here and there from clinics and hospitals and then distributes it across the octagon.
I want in,
says Agnello, baring his teeth greedily. As I take a deep breath and prepare to roll the dice I know are loaded against me.
like the sound of it. Dwight Agnello, drug trafficker. What do you think, boys? I think it's about time we entered the pharmaceutical industry too, don't you? That's what I thought.
My butter knife whacks him in the face, knocking his aim off me. As the grip around my shoulder grows vice-tight, I grab my captor's wrist and bite down on the fingers clamped onto my clavicle as blood gushes into my mouth and screams fill my ears. The grip weakens and I wrench myself free. Fucking dog's gator-like jaws chop down on my thigh. Its dagger-like fangs drill through my flesh, stapling me to the rabid animal intent on having me as her fucking dinner. However, although it is agonizing, the bite isn't as bad as the fact this big bitch is anchoring me to the spot, and considering that there is a meat cleaver-wielding thug charging at me, I'm not feeling like the biggest advocate of animal rights right now. Desperate to free myself off Miranda's crushing bite, I snatch the fork and begin stabbing her in the skull. Silver does nothing, barely punching skin-deep holes, then bouncing off her pavement like skull. Growling even fiercer, she secures herself tighter, but howls in pain when the business end plunges into her eye. Her grip weakens and I wrench her off, bashing her snout and sending her whimpering away. Master, however, is in no mood to retreat. In fact, he's boiling, more blood-hungry than ever. Rubbing his bruised forehead, he pulls himself to his feet. Before anyone can react, I kick my chair through the window. Feeling the blood pumping down my thigh, I sprint towards my only shot at escape.
Get the jack bastard!
The force of a sledgehammer smashes into the back of my shoulder. I realize I've just been shot. Stumbling, I trip. My momentum just carried me through the window. Agnello screams fruitlessly, emptying the rest of his clip after me.
Don't let him escape!
Landing badly, I twist my ankle and fall face first onto the street. Get the fuck up, Theo, not now! I drag myself up and begin to haphazardly hobble away, desperate to put as much distance between me and the cue ball cutthroat. Broken glass and gravel biting into my face. Hot lead is sizzling in my flesh. Blood is sizzling down my back and leg. But I can't stop now. I'm dead if I even think about slowing down. I push and shove my way through a bewildered crowd, but it's still not good enough. I can hear Agnello's thugs closing in. Fear and panic is already settled in. I'm running on pure adrenaline. Terrified of gunfire, people start screaming and jumping for cover, but I push on. As if that is a fucking option for me. I tried to limp fast, but my twisted ankle... Is that... Yeah, it fucking is. Thank God. Ma'am, officer, please. I can't believe I've actually come across one. The policeman is quietly enjoying a warm cup against a street corner, but drops it when she sees me. The bewildered lady rushes over to me, throwing my arm around her shoulder to keep me on my feet.
What's wrong, son?
Agnello, man. It's Dwight Agnello's boys. They're after me. They're after me.
Those bastards.
She grunts, removing her revolver from her side holster. My hunter's locked glare switch between me and the armed cop glaring at them.
Fucking Agnello's boys never listen.
Before I can react, my savior grabs me by the collar and smashes me into the wall.
Oh, Joe. Frankie. Mr. Agnello be pleased.
Just tell him this is gonna cost him extra.
As warm blood trickles down my forehead, my eyes flicker open. I find myself slumped against dirty brick stretch, staring down the dirtbag cop's gun barrel.
Don't worry. Once the boss is done questioning him, I don't think money's gonna be a problem.
Arnold grins sadistically, grabbing me by the hair and pulling me to my feet.
Oi! What's this black shit in his arm?
He groans as I elbow him hard in the groin. However, as I make my last chance at escape, I catch a glimpse of Clive charging at me, and before I can do anything about it, the 300-pound giant of a man tackles me hard, spearing his meaty shoulder deep in my gut. As the blow fractures my ribs, I begin to realize just how fucked I am. Wait, what's that sensation? I'm feeling a slight tickle in my back. The one I always experience when Ghost wants to kick in. Fuck it, do whatever you want. You're dying anyway. Let's see what Ghost's in the mood for. Before my attacker can react, I ram my legs around his enormous waist and snake my arms around his outstretched neck. Crash on the stone. However, to everybody's surprise, Clive can't get up. I'm latched onto him with guillotine choke, a vicious submission move where I'm slicing off the blood supply to his brain by digging my forearm into his neck. Clive splutters violently, thrashing to free himself. There's no way he can escape. I might have just... No, how the fuck is he getting up? Through sheer brute strength, he stands up straight while still ensnared in my deathly hold. My last lifeline is squeezing his life out of him, but he stubbornly refuses to let this skinny fuck shame him in front of his buddies. As his brain screams for oxygen, he tries one last desperate move to peel me off him. Arching back, he viciously smashes me against the pavement. That did not sound good. My entire body is twitching from the impact. But did I break something? It sounded like I... Oh my god. Clive's body goes limp, his neck oddly twisted underneath my arm. He's dead. He's dead, I just...
Clive? Clive!
Arnold yells, pulling his friend's lifeless body off me.
You just killed Clive!
Fucking get him.
Get the fuck away from me!
Before I can even defend myself, a size 14 bullet tip connects between my head. And then a rifle butt smashes into my chest. And then a few fists into my cheek. And then... Groaning and barely breathing, I realize I'm being dragged through the street by my collar. And considering the way everything looks really familiar, I think they're bringing my ass back to Agnello.
Stop!
I don't even have the motor function to turn my head around anymore. But the voice came from behind me. The lights are dulling and everything is fading.
You paid us to not disturb Mr. Agnello. No, shut up, Frank. This kid just murdered someone in our jurisdiction.
But I don't catch the rest. The numbness in my legs has risen all the way to my neck. Everything has gone dark. Sounds have dissolved into static. Only the taste of blood lingers.